Hello and welcome to JK, It's Not About You. I'm Jen Rouse.
And I'm Kelly Mirko, and we're your hosts. We're new empty nesters, and we're here to talk about what the next chapter looks like.
For so long, we were taxi drivers,
Domestic engineers, chefs,
tutors, cheerleaders,
and everything else that goes along with being a parent.
No days off, no paid vacation, and very limited time to pursue our own passions. It just wasn't about us.
It really wasn't. Join us on this new endeavor as we find passions in all things empty nesting. The little birdies have flown the coop and they're living their best lives, and now it's our turn. We're sweating through our 50s trying to figure it all out.
From resetting on marriage, navigating divorce, dating at 50, we're here to reclaim our calendars, our bodies, and our newly found identities in this confusing yet exciting new phase of life.
So grab your glass of wine or beverage of choice, your cozy sweats, and join us as we unpack all things real in our 50s.
Hi, welcome back, everybody. As you can see, Kelly is out and about traveling with Elias, and I'm here with a very dear friend of mine whom I've wanted to have on the show for a long time, and she's one of the greatest moms I've ever met and people, and her name is Julie Spieler, and she lived in Park City for many, many years like me and just relocated to Texas. So hello from Texas.
How's it going?
Hi, Jules. Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
I really, admire you as a mom, and I think just we have a very good relationship, and we talk often. And yesterday, your comment about dropping Finley, which is her youngest, off to school, prompted me to want to have a discussion today just about that part of empty nesting that hits so hard and so abruptly, and no one can really truly prepare for the shock that your emotional system goes through when that happens. So Finn just left, right? You just finished moving.
Yeah, she had her 18th birthday on Thursday. Is it Saturday? On Thursday. So, yeah, we had crazy. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of a long drop off. We stayed through her 18th birthday, which she wanted, but it was nice because it was a little gradual, which is good for Finn rather than just drop and run. But by the time we were saying goodbye yesterday, she was ready for us to go. It was no pictures, just bye, see you soon. So, better that she feels confident, off and running. Yeah, I spent a good portion of the car ride back to Texas crying and, just thinking, is she going to be okay? Did I do enough? Just all the things that we've been through, and I just have to trust and be confident in her and my parenting her. So, but same situation as you, Jen, like we've done it by ourselves and haven't had a husband or really involved co-parent to step in and take some of the weight off. So fortunately for me, the last couple years, I have had significant help, from dear friends and Joe. But it's still like the mental and emotional toll. There's no preparation for that because it's all we've done for, for my case, 25 years.
It's so crazy. Wake up you and I didn't have careers. We raised,
our babies were our job.
You have a special needs son and Sarah was not like Luke, but definitely required.
Yeah.
It was a full-time job. And
yeah.
Then all of a sudden you're like, okay, job's over.
Yeah.
You're going to retire now and you're only 50. And now what do you do with your life?
And sadly, I don't have a good retirement plan. So my job didn't pay well.
It's like 8 cents an hour, maybe.
I think it's about that. Yeah. Yeah. And you can't really save on that 8 cents. So
not when they cost $5 an hour. We're in the red.
We are in the red. So, yeah.
I mean, the financial toll, the emotional toll of keeping our kids and your girls. I've watched you, and your relationship is very similar to my kids. We have very close. We're very close, and I think that is due to the single mom, thing we've had to do, and we've had to be both mom and dad for so long and be at every sporting event. And, you've been at
Doctor's
lacrosse for,
appointment, everything.
yes, lacrosse for Riley, gymnastics for Finley. We were talking earlier this morning about how you had to make up your own occupational therapy for Luke. I did
Yeah.
with Sarah. We had many, many days at the National Ability Center, where we're dragging the little ones in tow. I mean, those days seemed like they would go forever because they'd start early morning and I'd be exhausted,
Oh,
you
I was
know.
exhausted. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, between school and homework and then I mean, summers, we just lived at the swimming pool,
Just lived at the pool.
So so Luke and Sarah could participate,
Right.
in like some kind of activity, but it's like all of a sudden you're left with this giant hole, and I could
Hmm.
hear it in your I didn't even have to hear your voice. It was just texting and I knew how you
Yeah.
felt in that like silent car, and Joe's great, but it's like even he's probably like I don't know what to say to you.
No. And he hasn't had kids, so he just doesn't get that. And like today I was putting laundry away in the closet and there's no mom, as annoying or, frustrating as all the moms sometimes get. Like that's you're needed. So now you're just kind of like, okay, well, I mean, sure, we'll get a text here and there, but it's not the same as when they're in the house. And even when I was with you and Nate, he's so cute. Mom, where are you? Mom, what are you doing? Like when that goes away,
Well,
not only
that's
does
what
your
I'm worried about because that'll be my last one. And I think
yes,
it hits harder. I think that's why it's even harder for you right now. And that's why I wanted to give viewers a chance to like get a heads up of just, really knowing that it hits differently with the second one, you know?
I mean, if I had to do it again, thankfully I don't, because that would probably break me, but I would spend more time as I was preparing my kids, preparing myself. I'm very organized and planned like you with and we've spoken enough to know kind of like what we want to do or what I want to do, but I would have put more effort into that and had like kind of ready to be off and running now with it rather than just starting it because I think that would help. So if I could give any advice, if parents have the time or whatever resource they might need to get a hobby or a new job or a new little avenue started as you're preparing your kids, I think that would have been helpful for me to do.
I
It's
think
not
that's
easy, not easy to do, but
no. And it's not because you're so busy still.
so busy. Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
so preoccupied with like, I mean, Finley was a, competitive gymnast we both have experienced our children with injuries,
Yeah.
and that throws off, you and I often say we got to pivot,
Yeah.
like there's no real planning,
No.
but, all of a sudden it's like a light switch goes off and suddenly all these to-do lists and everything you're leaving to what you've invested in them for the 20 years that we had them at home, and you hope that
Yeah.
that investment pays off and they do great and Finn will. And, but it just that whole void is sad and hurts so
Heavy.
bad. Yes, it's
Yeah.
heavy.
And when you don't have, a husband or co-parent who's invested to really share that weight with, it's a lot. So you just kind of are I find myself wandering aimlessly a little bit. So then I end up walking,
You
which
you
is,
got me into the walking, which by the
yeah,
way is like life changing for anxiety. Everybody like,
yeah, yeah.
I think
If
I
you don't
talk
know what
about
to
that every
do,
week. I
yeah, if
talk
you don't
about
know
it.
what to do, just go for a walk. So at the bare minimum, the 6 to 12 months before you send your first or last off to college, if you don't walk, start walking.
That's a good
Yeah,
hobby,
it's a great hobby.
and it's
Yep.
a
So I
great
would
thing
do
for
that.
anxiety and a great thing to like process your feelings and
Yeah.
but I do think like finding a hobby, creativity, I'm doing this podcast, so that's fun.
Mhm.
But it's like I need that something to put my brain to use because it's really awful when my whole career, your whole career was our
Yeah.
children. We didn't we didn't have a backup. We didn't go to work and then have kids.
Right.
That softens the blow, I think, for some
Yeah,
people.
it does. And I think for us, we were with our kids with special needs or extra circumstances, and then athletes, we were always doing, 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 doing. There wasn't really downtime for you and I. And that's not to say parenting typical kids isn't challenging, it is. But when you and I would take the kids to the pool, we weren't just sitting, we were constantly on. And
Yes.
like always, I've never really not been on. So that's a weird feeling. Like I don't have to be on. I don't have to be watching anybody or making sure someone's safe or making sure someone's fed. I don't need to do that right now. And that is, I, I don't even know how to describe that feeling. And then I sit and I think, all these people without kids who are complaining
Yes.
about being, I'm like, wait, this is how you felt your whole life.
I know. Isn't it
It's
crazy?
wild.
It's
It's
wild.
wild. Like, oh, no wonder there's a disconnect.
Yes.
No
And there is
wonder.
a disconnect,
Oh, yes.
you know?
It's just like, okay, so that's how that feels.
It's,
And it's funny because I'll just feel that for maybe 3 seconds. And then I quickly revert back to like being on or needing to. And then I'm like, wait, I don't need it. I can't even wrap my head around it, Jen. I'm sure you've caught yourself there a couple times.
oh,
And
yeah.
then when Nate goes, you really will.
And that's going to be
Yeah.
like I'll be where you are. And that will
Yeah.
be a completely empty house just with pets.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it's me and the pets. And,
Right.
and even when they come home, it's so hard because you get them back, and you get like a little like blip of what it used to be like. And they're used
They're
to,
off and running.
and then they're gone again. It's like,
And for me, I so want them to have their own lives. I
yes,
want them to be successful and happy and 100 times better than I ever was. But selfishly, I'm like, no, just come back and stay with me. Just come
yeah,
live with me. Like we can just live here together. I don't want that for them,
yes.
but it's normal to feel that way, I think.
And
Like,
just the loss right now that, hopefully we
yeah,
find ways to fill our voids, and we'll get to share that to once we do, and what works.
yeah,
And like, I think it's nice to just commiserate, and it feels good to know like you are feeling this too. And, people aren't alone. And this is just a real emotional time, and it's hard, and it's kind of like menopause and all this. It happens, it's going to happen.
yeah. But
You're
there's
going to
nothing preparing you. No.
no.
And I think we've joked about it a couple times. There's not much preparation, not to pick on men or women, but there isn't really for women. We have babies, we have menopause, we send kids to college. And I look at the guys and it's like, oh, you're leveling up in work. Here's a manual on it. Oh, well, we're going to send you here to take a class. But
Yeah,
with this stuff that we have to adjust to, it's like, oh, yeah, that's happening. You got it.
you could figure out a
And I'm like,
504. You could figure
I
this
don't
out.
got it. Yeah, you got it. I'm like, the fuck's 504? Like, really? I don't got it. But
No,
then we have to. So, I think like
you
that's
figure it
what's
out.
wild. You just figure it out. And I know I'll figure this out. But it's a lot.
Well, it's
And
day
it's
one,
more,
and
yeah,
she left earlier than most people, so most people aren't going to really feel this until August.
yeah,
And you didn't get the summer with her. You
no,
literally graduated high school, left Utah, moved to Texas, moved her to Iowa. So that was just like
yeah.
one big,
2 weeks ago, we were she graduated 2 weeks from yesterday, which feels like a year ago now because when I look at her as a fresh little senior out of high school, and now she's running around on this college campus and, like loving it and doing well, you don't even have time to process the graduation if
yes,
you're sending a child to some type of summer session. And I know you have some friends who's more, there are opportunities where kids leave earlier. And good and bad, a productive summer for the kids, but a pretty empty summer for moms or parents who are sending especially last ones off.
sad.
It is sad.
I
Yeah.
know. I
And I
know.
don't have Navy here with me either. So
No puppy either. At least at
no,
Maya.
You with Maya. Yeah. No,
My
no
little
need.
toddler. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, and you see moms out with little kids and you love that. And I love that time that I had with them. I don't want that back, but I think like with Riley, she's almost 25 and I'm starting to see, okay, eventually she'll will hopefully get married and have babies and that'll kind of come back around. But there's a point that you go through and you probably feel this with Sarah where you're almost like losing them more.
Yeah. They're finding
And
their
that's,
independence and it's everything
yes,
you want, but you hate
but
it at the
hate.
same yes, you hate it
Yes,
at the same time
you hate
because
it.
it is like bittersweet,
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
just
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, there's nothing to prepare you. And I mean, I probably spend more time than I should on Instagram and see all these suggestions for what to do when you send your kids off. And as well meaning as people are, I don't think anybody's really real about it. They're like, oh, find a hobby. Well, what am I going to do? All of a sudden learn to knit? Like,
Yeah,
find a hobby.
I know.
Okay, like tell me how I'm going to feel and how to process that. That's what I want to hear.
Yes.
So it's hard to hear, but you're going to feel empty. You're going to feel lost. You're going to feel like you want to cry every 5 seconds. And I've noticed for me when I feel like that, I either talk to you or I talk to Joe or I'll send one of my girls a text, not, and I miss you, but just checking
Hi.
in. How's the pool? Or, thinking of you, or I'll walk, I'll do something just to like move my body and not sit in it too much.
Yes.
Um, so for parents getting ready to do this, I hate to break it to you, but it's hard and empty. And if you've been a stay at home mom, uh, it's a big loss. It's like all of a sudden, boom, you're done. There's no, we're preparing for it, but nobody's preparing me for how it's going to feel emotionally. I mean, you were my biggest help. And you said, I'm worried about you. And
I know the
I've,
feeling. And you're now
yeah,
seeing you're going to worry about me when my last one goes cuz
yeah,
even though Nate's not here a lot and he travels, it's been very different. His high school is
yeah,
very different for me. But it's like, the traveling and everything, it's different. But I know once he really packs his room up and
yeah.
moves into his own apartment or dorm or whatever happens, it's going to hit like it hit you.
Yeah. And it's just all their stuff. And I think, too, the other thing that's different is when they're home with us, we know their friends, we know their life, or even if they meet a new friend or have a new experience in snowboarding or gym, we're sharing that with them every day. But when they're off, they're meeting new people every minute and doing something new. And I don't expect my kids to tell me that, like update me every 5 minutes, but that's part of the joy of being a mom is seeing them grow and enjoy life and, reach goals and meet new people. And when you're not there experiencing it, you're like, that kind of stinks. I don't like that. I don't like that
When
feeling.
you knew day in and day out every little thing that happened.
Yes. Yes.
It's
So that's weird.
it is weird.
Yeah. I don't like that.
It is
Yeah.
weird.
But I even feel like that with you since I moved. Like, I think, oh gosh, Jen's walking at Run Amok, or I'm missing out on that. Like, it's a feeling of not, at least I can be vulnerable and say, I don't feel very content. So
Yes.
I have to work and make myself learn to be content in where I am. And I think you and I spoke briefly about this too. My girls and I are so close. We've been through so much, like you and Nate and Sarah. And it's hard not to want to like be where they are. But I
Yes.
have to learn to be okay with where I am and really enjoy where I am and not keep thinking, oh, I want to be there. I want to be there. Because the reality is they're not going to stay in that space or that place. They'll keep growing and moving. But I think like it's pretty normal in any mom who would say, oh, I don't want to be near my kids. I mean, I guess there are some, but that's not me. And
Not
I can
me
admit
either.
that's not me. So, that is not me.
No, and
Like,
especially when they come around to the next phase with just babies and whatnot. We want to be there. Are you
oh,
kidding?
oh yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, raw feelings is just empty and kind of like I said to you, hollow. And I was texting with one of my friends last night. She's dropping her daughter off at Pitt, single mom, lives in Texas, and very similar situation to ours. And sweet woman. She said, when I think of leaving her here, I just feel a stab in my stomach. So, and she even tried to get her daughter to go to a different school so it was drivable distance. So I think we all feel the same way, but some of us don't want to be that vulnerable and admit it.
That's why I wanted to
And
talk about it, because I think like it's like when you listen to anything and you're like, wow, that's so true.
yeah,
And just the conversation we had yesterday, I was just like, this is something that needs to be out there. Like you're feeling it in real time. And
yeah,
it's, we'll have to check on you in like 6 months, because that's about what it took for me.
yeah, that's what you said. I keep that in the back of my mind. I'm
Yeah,
like,
6 months is about when it stops hurting every day, and you start to
yeah,
get used to it. It becomes a new normal. But it's again, I still have one at home, so I'm not in your position. But
yeah,
yeah, it's I will be. I mean, I'm right behind you. But
yeah,
yeah, it's just something to like talk about, and I love that. I love just having people share how they're feeling and being vulnerable and open, and it really sucks. And it's not all about the dorm checklist and everything that they need, books, computers, like that task quickly ends. And then what?
it does.
You
And
know?
then what? Yeah. And for me, I enjoy that. Like, I enjoy helping people and serving people and being there. And like, I enjoy that. I understand not everybody does, but I really like that. So when that's gone, I'm like, who do I plan for?
It's hard.
Maybe the dog.
It's hard.
And
It's
there's
hard.
Joe doesn't want to be planned for. So
No.
we're not going to, no,
Joe doesn't
there's
want to.
Joe, no. So there's no planning for the guys.
Yeah. It's very
Husbands,
different.
boyfriends, we
Yes.
don't plan for them.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm like, who do I plan for? I guess I can plan for myself, which I've never done.
Well, I would love to
And
to do another episode with you about girls trips, because
I think we
I think a
should.
girls trip is necessary so we can get in person and we don't have to do this remote thing, because it was technically
Yep,
difficult. But
it
yeah,
is.
and I wanted to like do some, like find the good in all of this, and
Yes, there
getting to
is a lot of
travel,
good.
and
There is.
there is, and we just have to find our newfound freedom and all of that. But
I mean, I'm getting really wild and thinking of joining this little like trial week of Pilates. You and I did Pilates in Utah,
I loved
so
it.
maybe I'll go to that class a couple times this week, see how it is. And I mean, we won't be like Finley, but that's fine.
No, nobody's as
So,
flexible as, as Finley.
no. So I'm trying to fill little things like that. But yeah, I think you and I spoke a couple times about different things that we could highlight that, viewers might like. And
Yeah.
girls' trips are a huge deal. I think even if you can plan some girls' nights after you
Yes.
drop your babies off at college, do that. Have something lined up for when you get back. Not right away, because you'll stand
Yeah.
there and cry, but a week or two out, something to look forward to
Yeah.
and just kind of ground you again. So I know for me, like if I have some dates, and we spoke about that, I said, let's get some dates
It's good to
because
have things to look forward to.
it is.
Yeah.
And it's good to, yeah, be around people who, really get you.
Yes.
So that would be another tip I would give, is just make sure you have like something within 2 to 4 weeks after you drop your babies where it's just for you or something you're really excited about.
That's good
And you're
advice.
not just sitting in the
Wallowing.
stillness of their room,
Yes.
which I'm
Which you
doing
are
right
doing
now.
right now.
I'm doing right now.
You
Yeah.
feel it all
And
the
looking,
feels.
I am looking at everything that she was like, I should take that. I should take that. And secretly glad that we didn't take it because there was no room.
Yeah. They don't understand that either, but
No, no.
it's all a
Uh,
process. It's all a process.
yes,
Well,
yes.
thank you so much for coming on today. And
Thanks for having me.
I am so glad you're safe and you're back from your drive. And we will talk, and I'll keep everybody posted. If anybody has any questions for Julie about anything college, drop off related,
Special
it's
needs
fresh.
kids.
It's
Yeah, oh,
fresh.
yeah. The college thing is fresh. You want a dorm checklist? I'll give it to you. Everything
Right?
I forgot.
Command tape, right, Maya? I
Hi,
know,
Maya.
command tape.
Hey, we did buy way more command tape.
Yes.
You can never have enough of that.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Hi,
Okay.
Maya.
Well, thank you again. Jules, like Maya wants to walk. So that's what I'm going to go
Yeah, she does.
do.
She's like, it's time to go.
It's time to go. All I
Oh,
do is
I
walk.
miss my. That's
I miss
fine.
you too.
I
Thank you
miss
so
you.
much. And
Thank
I'll
you.
talk
All
soon.
right. Love
Okay.
you.
Love you.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to this week's episode of JK, It's Not About You.
You can write in and ask your questions on our show's Instagram page at JK It's Not About You, and we will address your questions on the next week's episode.
If this episode helped you, we would love for you to share it with your friends and family.
Share the fun with all those that can benefit from a good laugh or cry with us.
Please rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and we would greatly appreciate you.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.